Welcome, gentlemen, to the Loose Dads podcast.
It's only Loose Dads again. Yeah. There's three of us this week, but usually four blokes sitting around talking a load of rubbish. This is Loose Dads from Dadsnet, and it's the week in which we found out, sadly, that Bill Treacher, Arthur Fowler from EastEnders, had died. So today I'm going to introduce the panel as EastEnders characters.
Here we go.
Unfortunately, Brad's not here, but if he was here, I'd say that there was an air of malevolence in the room. You knew something bad was going to happen. He's Nasty Nick. He's got to be Nasty Nick, right?
Nice, yeah, okay, yeah.
Hello, darling.
I was wondering what South African character you were going to pull out of that.
I hadn't even chosen. I think there was one. I think it was a bloke called something Wilmot Brown, James Wilmot Brown. I've got an idea he might have been South African. Oh, I don't know.
Jump in the comments if you're watching and you know who the South African was in.
There's got to have been one.
And I'm not
Can't
even
be, right?
sure because, I'm not a massive fan of it, but, everyone knows the classics. By the way, we stream this live on a Tuesday night. So there are people watching live and able to chip in 8:30 every Tuesday night. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast, that's great as well. But, try the live stream one week. You might like it. Jack, if I was to say you were an EastEnders character, who might you think I might go for?
I think you would go for Phil Mitchell or Grant Mitchell.
I have written down here the third Mitchell brother.
Yeah.
Because you're a good mechanic.
Of course.
Yeah, that's the only reason. Because you're a good mechanic.
I could have been Minty.
You could have been.
Look,
Minty, quality character.
That's Peter in the Facebook comments has also gone with Mitchell brother. He knew that straight away.
Yeah, I like to be obvious. There's no other reason why the not quite as hirsute as once he might have been Jack would be one of the Mitchell brothers. Sparky, we know, is a very small man. He's a very short man, and he's very teeny tiny. So
Yeah.
Sparky's Little Willie.
Who's Little
The
Willie?
dog. It was the dog. It was Ethel's dog.
Mate, I had high hopes for Patrick Truman. I'm gutted I wasn't Patrick Truman.
No, nothing you've ever said has been true, man. So
I also don't think you've ever been as cool as Patrick Truman.
No, I wish. I wish, man. Everyone calls my dad Patrick Truman, to be fair.
Because I'm the father figure of this podcast, I like to think that I'm Frank Butcher. And I also like to stand wearing nothing but a revolving bow tie as well. So that fits also.
I'm so glad this podcast shoulders up.
There is a reason for that, and it's the restraining order that I got. On the way, we're going to be answering a big question of the week from the Dadsnet social media. We're also going to be finding out how we're getting on with this reading study. But first of all, let's do the news. Multiple arrests have been made after a second day of widespread disruption by protesters on the M25. The motorway was blocked and gantries were climbed in Essex, Hertfordshire, Kent and Surrey by activists from Just Stop Oil. They said the action was to demand that the government halts all new oil and gas licenses and consents. Now, the world is burning, right? We know that for a fact. Oil is not going to be the way forward forever. So they have a point. However, they're making people very angry. As people are pointed out in the articles that I've read about it, they're finding the people with the worst sob stories and getting them to comment. So people who, are off to kind of see dying relatives or going to funerals and stuff and are late because of the protests on the M25. And so I don't know if that's particularly fair reporting, because there might well be people in those queues that go, yeah, okay, they've got a good point. It's annoying. It is irritating. But kind of that's the point of a protest, isn't it?
But there also might be people in that queue going, "Me chips are getting cold. Come on, I've got to get home."
No one wants sweaty chips, though, mate. If you've got a takeaway on the go and you get stuck in traffic, that's proper annoying. I don't know how I feel about this, because I feel like everybody sort of feels the same. We know climate change is a problem. Like, we know, like we don't. No one really knows the instant answer to fix it. We know we've got to do it slowly, and also, how else are they going to get your attention unless they do big things like this? You know, this is Stop Oil I'm talking about here. But the inconvenience it causes is counterproductive, because people just get angry at them and forget the message because they're furious that someone's made them late for a funeral or they've got sweaty chips. Like, you know what I mean?
Especially in this climate, you know, you could say it's like pouring oil on the fire.
You could. You really could. They'd probably be against that as well. These wokeratis.
But I can't think of a better way. Like, I this is what I mean. Like, I agree with their message. I know that we all need to do better to save the planet, and yeah, probably oil is a good place to start. But you're not going to just listen to someone who starts a conversation in a pub about this. Like, I would say that you'd be like, "Oh, bore off, will you, mate? Like, I'm just trying to have a good night out." Like,
but that's not where the change needs to happen. You know, like I can sign as many Greenpeace petitions as I like, but that's not where the change needs to happen. What people need to realise is that people protesting on the M25 and blocking roads and stuff like that aren't doing it to inconvenience you. They're doing it to grind things to a halt. Like, you being pissed off is what they want, essentially, because a whole bunch of pissed off people is what's going to get governments and higher ups to take action.
So what they want to do is to get people angry, and then them channel that anger towards the politicians who aren't doing anything. At the moment, though, a lot of it is just bouncing back onto the protesters.
Yeah,
and
that's the problem.
And
it doesn't work.
That is a problem. But then, as you say, you know, the point of a protest is to inconvenience people. Like, when people go, "Well, you can't go on strike." Go on strike when it's not going to inconvenience people, and you think, well, there's no point in going on strike then, because you're not using that power. So it's a really, really tough one. I mean, there's a lot of nuanced argument here. I did ask Brad for 5 words to give us his point of view, because he's usually the counterpoint in these sort of arguments. His 5 words: "What a bunch of wankers." So there you go. That's what he had to say.
Oh, I thought that was his message to us.
Yeah, I did actually think that was just a genuine message to the group about us lot, but it makes sense now.
Well, no, to be fair, Al, the god of the dad's net, has said that's also Brad's thoughts on countless other things in 5 words. He just picks it up and drops it wherever he needs it. So
he's got it loaded, copy and paste.
Yeah.
So do you really think, though, that that's going to, like, I just think, how do we move forward with this? Because I want to move forward with helping save the planet, and I just don't know. The government aren't going to listen, man. They don't listen when in so many ways, and the M25, the people getting angry about that, I don't know how that's going to make Rishi Sunak start making the right decisions, because
it's not. You got to hit people in the pockets.
Like, schools are skin.
That's the only way change is going to happen.
You know, schools are skin, the NHS is skin, and they're not changing anything there. So I you know, and I'm on the side. I am all on the side of this, and all on the side of. So, because I
was just going to say, what the government is doing, though, is rather than going, "Oh God, yeah, we need to stop this," they're doubling down then on attacking, and they're doing the populist thing and going, "Yeah, aren't they annoying? Oh, we should ban protests, shouldn't we? Yeah, let's do that." No. Debate about protests, which it shouldn't be, and the fact that in any civilized country is thinking of banning protests is outrageous. The argument should be, God, yeah, we need to get these people round the table to help us come up with a solution, but they're not, because it's easier to just go, yeah, they're right, aren't they? These tofu eating people who are causing all these issues. And we've got this comment. It says there are better ways of protesting, like blocking up the motorway at rush hour. Having cars sat there with their engine running is counterproductive. I see what you mean, but their protest isn't just about, you know, a couple of hours of cars running their engines on the motorway. There's about the bigger picture of the planet. Yeah, okay, there will be slightly more pollution because of this protest, but in the scheme of things, that's not really the big issue.
Yeah, right. I think, like, what they're saying is that individual action like that isn't what is going to make the difference. They're not trying to get your attention. They're trying to get the attention of the higher ups.
So why don't they protest by gluing themselves to 10 Downing Street and saying we won't move until you let us in and we change the signing of the paper?
Because there's men with guns.
Right. Okay. Okay. So I don't know then the Houses of Parliament or whatever, like they have to still drive their cars to get there or what have you. Right. And this is absolutely just me throwing this out there as an idea. I don't know if this is doable or not. I'm just like, I'm saying I'm with the people who are angry about it, like the people who are commenting on this as well. And I'm also with the protesters. I'm a fence sitter in most arguments, actually. And I'm here going, we need a problem solved here. But like you say, the higher ups are the ones that can do something about it. So let's handcuff ourselves to Rishi Sunak until he does something about it. I don't know what pissing people off who you want on your side is gonna do. Like in that point.
Yeah,
like, that's a fair point to be made.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a perfect way of doing it. I'm just saying that's what they're trying to do.
I would say that the conversation isn't going to happen unless these things happen. And maybe it is working because the conversation's happening, and long after those people are pissed off because they've got sweaty chips, they'll still be thinking about, okay, yeah, well, can we stop using oil? I don't know. So maybe it will work in the long run, but in the short term, it seems to just not be working very hard.
The problem is it's got that divisive nature about it, doesn't it? It's not educating anyone in the public. It's not buying them any goodwill. It's just adding, I said it before, adding oil fuel to the fire of the divisive politics in this country at the moment.
Can I also just say, though, thank you for choosing to do it 12 hours after I went through the Dartford crossing yesterday because I had a long drive back. I met Jack in Tunbridge Wells. Me and Jack had a day out in Tunbridge Wells, Sparky. You should have joined us, but
I was supposed to, but the train strikes, they affected that. So
train drivers.
See what I mean? I want the drivers to get a pay rise, but I also wanted to be at Tunbridge Wells. I got severe FOMO, guys. See what I mean?
It's very posh. You should go sometime. I don't know if they'd let you in, but
that's what I'm thinking, mate.
But yeah, I had like a 5-hour drive back to Yorkshire yesterday, and if I'd have been stopped, I might have cried. So it was good because I got going and it was okay.
I got back from Tunbridge Wells about 45 minutes ago.
Did you?
Wow.
Yep. So I'm tired.
Okay. Yeah. Chat's like, let's just get this thing done so I can go and lie down, please. Get the podcast on, guys.
I just want to wrap up this bit on protests by telling you my claim to fame related to protests.
Oh, come on, Jack.
Do you remember when Extinction Rebellion blocked the roads last time around the M25 and everyone got so angry a woman drove her car into two of the protesters?
Mm-hmm.
My mum's cousin was one of those protesters.
Really?
Whoa.
Oh yeah. She's done quite a lot of Extinction Rebellion stuff. She's dressed as Mother Earth and thrown oil over buildings in Cambridge and been arrested numerous times now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. There's a bit of radicalism in your family then.
I know. Hey. I'm probably on a watch list.
Yeah. Has anyone been on a
watch list before,
or a watch list? But we could all have been. Anyone been on a march, a protest, anything like that? I went on the anti-Iraq war one in 2000 and whatever it was.
Okay, and what happened?
I forget what the result of that was. I think they stayed out of Iraq and everything was fine.
Okay,
didn't stir up any problems and leave lots of issues. So it was pretty good.
I mean, similar issue there, isn't it? Oil, money.
Yes, yeah.
Hey, no, they don't really give a shit what you think, do they?
No, they did not listen very hard. Sparky, have you got a news story?
Oh, I have, Jim. It's good that you asked me. Sorry.
Surprise.
Hey, it's funny you should ask, Jim, because I do have a news story. Bear with whilst I get it.
I mean, you see, you made that joke about being unexpected, and then you didn't actually have it
You're
ready,
like,
even though
wait,
you
where
did
is
know
it?
it was going to happen.
I've got to unlock my iPhone, and for some reason, every week, my Face ID stops working, and I've got to put my PIN code in when we're doing the podcast. But here we go, guys. So anyone who's holding out till Christmas for new underwear, a news article's come out because people are shocked to learn how long you should actually keep a pair of pants for. Now, thinking of your underwear drawer right now, what's the oldest pair you're aware of living in that underwear drawer right now?
Well, I can tell you what the newest pair is, probably 11 months, because that's when last Christmas was. So the oldest pair.
Is there a pair that you look and you think, oh, God, I've had them a while, I should probably chuck them out soon, but you just, they stay in the cycle because you're desperate?
I did have a turf out actually a couple of years ago, so probably there might not be anything more than about 3 or 4 years. But you know, in the past there has been older ones than that, but
So 3 or 4 years, Jim. Just put that down. Just quickly ask you: do you think you're in the time zone of how long you should actually keep a pair of pants? Or do you think you're in the scientific safe zone?
I mean, I can tell the way you're leading me. The answer is probably no, but I would like to think yes. I would think, yeah, come on, 4 years.
Also,
the planet's burning. We've already ascertained that.
We haven't got time for new pants.
So I'm 33. I graduated when I was 21, and I still somewhere have a pair of boxers that I bought at my graduation with the university name on.
Have they got?
They're not in regular rotation because I am not the same size as I was when I was 21.
You should be so lucky, mate. Have they even got a gooch in them? Because you would have worn it away.
That's the first bit that goes on mine. First bit that goes.
That's it,
All
mate.
right, bragging.
So the actual time that you should keep a pair of boxers or underwear is 6 to 12 months.
No.
Which means exactly. Which means literally my whole underwear drawer needs binning, according to this article.
Yeah, but who was this written by? Was this written by Oddballs or one of those subscription pants companies?
No, someone in Pennsylvania who was doing some research. It's just like
I don't trust anyone who's doing research into underwear.
It's
a bit creepy.
Okay.
I'm just going to do a survey of your
underwear.
underwear.
Let's have a look at these. But
have you still got a gusset in those? Or?
Can you send them to me for examination?
Which is funny because that was what you graduated for, was underwear.
Yes, yeah.
No, as long as you're washing them in the hot wash, though, guys, you are killing off bacteria, so it shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, genuinely 6 to 12 months, which is news for everyone because I wonder how many. Literally, the next bin day is just going to be all pants and socks out of people's drawers, right?
Well,
which is
I can
great
tell
when, resources are scarce. What we don't want is more manufacturing, more people shipping stuff over from China or whatever.
What?
I can tell you the Dadsnet community, based on the live audience tonight, do not think that is an acceptable time period. Executive producer Connor from our Patreon page has chimed in with sod off.
There you go.
At least we hope that's in relation to the.
Have you got a pair of? Okay, this could be a creepy question. Actually, I was just thinking off the top of my head, just to add a little bit more to the end. But do you have a pair of boxers though, that are the ones? If you put them to one side because they're the ones, they're your special ones, or you like them, they're the ultimate comfortable ones.
I've got a pack. One specific pack, and I can't remember where I got them, so I can't go out and buy more of them. But they are very comfortable.
Okay. I bought specific pants for the wedding day as well, which I've actually got a variation of those on today. So I bought wedding day pants because I just thought, you got to wear special pants on your wedding day, right?
Right. What are those ones? Month one.
These they're only on their second wear, boys, because they've been pretty much. But because I got married in Greece, they've got almost some Greek hieroglyphics around the top. So
I thought they actually said wedding day.
Oh no.
Oh right, okay, that's what I meant. What are these ones?
No, they're not like the CK ones with wedding, married, just married around the top. I mean, it's probably someone sells them on Etsy though, don't they?
I've got so many socks like Jack, groomsman, and then the day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have
that
also
is a humble brag.
Yeah, it really is. Isn't
Oh, I'm
it?
everyone's mate. I've been to Greensman so many times.
Pretty much all my socks, guys.
So following that did you get any first Sparkies? Because we didn't go, did we?
No,
to Wales
no.
Homelands?
No.
So following that revelation, the pants revelation, the revelation about jeans, right? You know how often you're meant to wash jeans.
Right. Danny will be listening to this, probably not now, but when she downloads it, she will be listening to this, and she does not believe me.
Yeah, you're not meant to wash them, are you?
Nah.
You're not
Whatever.
meant to wash them. Apparently, no. Apparently, you don't wash them ever. You just like sponge them down a little bit, and that's it. Which
Just wait till the dirt dries and then whack them with a stiff brush.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't think that doesn't seem very hygienic to me.
Yeah,
but
what-
that's
What about when a toddler's got yogurt hands and decides he wants to cuddle your leg? Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like that's going to leave a milky, sour milk smell that you don't want. on your
But you
jeans.
know what it's like. You have a pair of jeans. They're very nice. You wash them once. Oh, they're faded a little bit. Then you wash them twice. Oh, no, getting a bit quite faded now. By the time you've had them a year, they're like just this tatty old pair of things hanging off you.
Yeah.
Like denim's supposed to be long lasting, not just.
Don't get me started though, Jack, because jeans aren't denim anymore. They're all this elasticy stuff. They're not like, you know what I mean? They're not proper denim. Don't get me started.
I just felt mine. They are.
They're like,
Sniffed it.
it's not the same. It's not the same thing.
would you prefer faded jeans or yogurt hand jeans? I don't know. Like, I'm not sure.
Get enough yogurt hands on it, and it just looks faded anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Good point. There we are.
Also, if your jeans are constantly covered in yogurt, it just hides all the other stains. As soon as I started that, I realised what that sounded like. And that's not where I was
Can you
going.
elaborate, please, Jack? What other stains might you have on your jeans, mate?
I've got a load of really nice vintage suits, and I use them. I used to be this. I mean, this is a humble brag. I used to be the PA announcer at Scunthorpe United, and I used to wear these, and it was quite nice. It was quite like a thing. I used to get a bit of banter off the fans because of it, and it was just, I enjoyed wearing them, and it was a nice excuse to wear suits every so often. When you're a slacker like me, you don't get that chance very often.
Yeah.
But it coincided when the period where both of my children were very young, so they've all got baby sick over the shoulders or over the nose. And it costs more to have them dry cleaned than it costs to buy them from the charity shops that I got them from. So it just doesn't seem worth it, really.
Nah, just stick with them as they are.
So no one invite me to a wedding because I've got no suits to wear. Jack, what's your news story?
The announcer's got no suits. The announcer's got no suits.
Got sick on his shoulder. Got sick on his shoulder.
Okay, right. My story. I do have one. There is an inventor, right, who I think has come up with the next gen of gaming. So we had PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, blah, blah, blah. I should have gone with the Xbox ones because the PlayStation ones are just quite easy, aren't they? I didn't really need to run through
Thanks for counting for us, Jack.
the numbers. I thought that was going to be more complicated, but it wasn't. Okay, well...
He's padding,
okay,
Jim. He's
so we've
padding.
had all of that. And then we had the Oculus Rift. Okay? Suddenly, gaming is virtual reality. Whoa. How can it get any more realistic than that? This inventor has strapped explosives to the Oculus Rift. Okay?
Okay.
And if you die in the game, you die in real life.
Well, that is one way to get better at a game very, very quickly.
Wow.
Well, that's his point. He says, like, you will go into that game and you will give a shit about what you are doing. Like, it makes it so much more immersive and real life because there is a real consequence to...
Well,
like, it's not like GTA where you can just go in and go like...
Isn't the point of gaming, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a gamer, so I might be wrong here, but isn't the point of gaming to be able to do all that stuff without the real life consequences?
yeah, otherwise you might as well just do it in real life. Like, you might as well play GTA in a real car and die in reality rather than die in virtual reality. Like, surely, like, it's absolutely pointless, right? What the hell?
Yeah, no, actually, I see that point.
Because it's
Thought
like,
about that.
if you're doing jumping over roofs or whatever, like these parkour people doing stuff, you might as well, if you're doing that in virtual reality and you're going to die if you mess it up, you might as well just do it. for real, and then die in real life anyway. Like.
See, what I want to know is where he's taking this next. Because in GTA, what are you going to get chlamydia if you have sex with one of the prostitutes?
Oh, and you're always going to do that, guys.
Yeah.
Don't forget to shoot them after and get your money back. Sorry, that's in the game. That's not in reality. But
Terrible lesson.
And
it's for playing
always,
GTA.
always treat your prostitutes well, Sparky. If there's one thing I learned from my dad,
Hey.
And if you eat,
it's okay. He doesn't watch.
if you eat a certain type of pill, you'll be able to eat ghosts as well. That's another one. That
Okay.
Yes,
could
yeah.
come to reality. Yeah.
That's from Jim's generation of gaming.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Ooh, and you lose that really important game of Pong as well, and you'd be really disappointed. Oh, so annoying. So I sense this is an opportunity to have a little partnership with the Loose Dads. Who is going to take on this chance and play the Explosives Oculus Rift game?
Maybe that's where Brad is.
Maybe so.
He's beta testing it.
Okay, be careful, Brad. Be careful.
If you want, we mentioned the Patreon. If you want to help support this podcast, we would, obviously love you to do that. It was a ridiculous thing to say. If you want to support this podcast, no, don't. It's all right. It's fine. No, please do. We've got loads of different tiers of Patreon membership, and you could get things like monthly meetups with the Loose Dads. You could get an executive producer credit. You could also get some bonus content as well, where we talk about kind of geek stuff. Not all like the Jack's geek stuff. Sometimes it's Married at First Sight as well. That me and Sparky had a good old chat about that.
Come on.
Get onto patreon.com/loosedads and make sure that you sign up there, and you'll get loads of good stuff, and you'll be officially better than everyone else that listens to this podcast. So if that's not a big enough sell, I don't know what is. Big question on the way. We're going to be answering a question about chores when you were little. Have a think about that. What you used to get paid for when you were little. We'll talk about that in a bit on Loose Dads. Now, Dadsnet's teamed up with Farshaw, and we are running this study on the positive impacts of dads reading with their children. So a load of dads have got a load of books that they've picked with their kids, and they're going through them. They're reading as much as they can, hopefully every night, and they're filling in their diaries and telling us how it's getting on and how it's going with them. And it's just been a really good opportunity to get into some kind of different books, because I don't know about you, but have you had the thing where you tend to read the same book every night, or kids just want the same thing over and over again, and you're like, this was a great book 3 weeks ago, but now
I think I can still recite Pee-wee the Kiwi word for word.
Oh, really?
But you're still all in a New Zealand accent, of course.
Yes,
the Kiwi
obviously.
was a very lonely little Kiwi.
Nice. Very nice.
Thank you. Apologies if I just offended anyone.
I hope those people from New Zealand had signed up to the Patreon before you did that, because otherwise we're not going to get them. But yeah, so accents when you're reading, that's a big part of it. Has that been part, Jack, of your...
I love it. I love it. We're reading Flat Stanley at the moment, okay? We've got this bumper book of Flat Stanley books.
Stanley, wow.
Like, do you remember Flat Stanley?
Yeah, that's a throwback.
Yeah. And so when we're reading it with Jake, and he's like, every time we go anywhere, we're like, do you want to take any toys? He's like, can I take Flat Stanley? Yeah, sure. The other night he woke up in the middle of the night and he wasn't feeling very well, and he got in our bed and he was like, can I just have a chapter of Flat Stanley, please? I was like, oh yeah, of course you can. But I'm doing all the voices. So you've got Mrs. Lambchop. Mrs. Lambchop is very well spoken. And then I hadn't got to the bit where it said that Mr. Lambchop was well spoken as well. So he's northern. Mr. Lambchop.
You can be northern and well spoken.
Yes, well spoken, given the circumstances. Yeah. But then we're in a book where there's like a load of little alien people, so all their voices are very, very much like this. And I thought that was great, because they're not going to have big speaking parts, are they? I just read a whole bloody chapter tonight where it's just these people talking. I'm going, said President Ott. I should have thought that one through.
Yeah. Sparky, how's it going for you? Is Jackson any more kind of in because he wants to read them, right? But he's 2.
Yep. He's doing that classic, the same when we're like trying to play with Lego. He's like, come play with my Lego. Then you pick up one piece. And he goes, no, I'll take that piece, and starts building with it. And it's the same with the book. You try and read the book to him as well. And he's like, well, I'll take it. I'll hold it. But we did have a proud day today because Tuesdays are his library day with his nanny. He goes to singing at the library and then he gets some books out. And, definitely you can see the results of us doing this reading, has really definitely grown his love for books, because he bought 5 home today from the library. I don't know why.
Nice.
Wow.
He even bought one that was because he just likes picking them by the pictures and stuff, because that's how we pick them off the, for Farshall, like I was showing them on the website. He brought a book that's translated into Mandarin home. He can't read Mandarin, but he liked the pictures, and of course his nanny doesn't say no to him, so he could have that. And I thought that was brilliant. But the proud moment,
he's so clever.
it's like he's 2.5. He's fluent in Mandarin, of course he is. But the greatest thing did happen today, which it was a proud moment. So he was with his nanny at the library, and when I went to pick him up today, she said he told the librarian that his daddy reads books to him.
Nice.
And so that's the ultimate payoff, because so he went, my daddy reads these to me whilst he was getting the books out of the library today. And so I've thought about that a couple of times this evening, when you just like, and I was just like, okay, so that's great. And so that's absolutely what we're trying to do by, this connection with Farshall, and trying to encourage dads to read with kids. And let me tell you, that feels, it's just, because he loves his mum for everything else. He rejects me all the time when he wants to speak to his mum, the supervisor. But today I got a credit because he told the librarian that his daddy reads the books to him.
Nice.
There you go. That's definitely a win. That's good. With for us, the surveys, sort of the studies, come at the right time, because my son is just starting to read. So he's in year 1 now, so he's had like a year of sort of slowly building up and getting kind of the phonics and things like that. And so he's really getting into it. The books he's chosen are like a little bit more advanced, but it's really good because now he wants to give them a go as well. He's got these Beano books, so Dennis and Nasher books, which are very good, written by IP Daily is what it says on the comedy gold every time we pick up the book and talk about that. But he's really trying to read them himself, and he's getting there. He's it's tough, because it's for a more sort of grown up kind of reading ability, but he's trying his hardest, and I think it's probably really helping him with his school stuff as well, which is great. So we look like A1 parents, which is amazing. I'm happy about that. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll keep people updated with the results of this study, and you can find out more about it on all of the Dadsnet channels, and we'll put a link into the podcast description as well. So it's Farshall and Dadsnet doing this reading study. Right, let's do the big question of the week. Big question of the week.
The big question of the week.
The big question of the week.
This week we asked on the Dadsnet social media channels what chores you were paid to do as a child, which I think is very interesting for dads as well, and mums, all parents, because it's good to know what to pitch for your kids, the jobs that you don't want to do, you want them to do, and how much it will get you in return. So did you two do chores when you were little? Did you get paid for anything? Sparky, what was it for you?
So this is, guys, where I got my green fingers from, the gardening, from Nan and Grandad. I used to help my granddad at the allotment, and so like jobs like shelling peas was one of the one that would get me pocket money to be able to buy something down the post office from my nan's house.
Or was it like a penny a pea?
No, it was just like 50p if you just did this, carry a bag full of peas that my granddad just picked from the allotment. But you always had to dodge maggots and stuff. Like we'd have a big bowl on my nan's kitchen table. It's like brilliant memory.
No,
Have you not? Have you never? Didn't you have to? Oh, it's
I never
really.
had to fish maggots out of my dinner. No.
No, not out of your dinner. So Nan you'd just be sitting at my nan's kitchen table and you just pop the pea pods, and then there'd be some maggots would get in, and then he'd be like, "Oh, maggot one, Nan," and then it was just like a bit of fun. He'd have to throw those ones away, but those
Classic childhood fun.
all the good things. Shelling peas, guys.
Another maggot one.
Digging over my granddad's allotment, and then was one time when we got a load of broad beans which we had to pick because my granddad, we had so many. It's one of my nan's classic stories that she used to tell all the time. Like, one year we had a glut of broad beans on the allotment, and we sold them to the local fruit and veg shop, and he bought a load of them off us. And so when we did that, they let me in on the profits because I helped them to sort them. So I think I remember getting myself one of those bow and arrows with the suction caps on the end, the ping, like one of them from above the, they used to have all the toys in the post office like pinned up, and you get the lady to come back from behind the counter to take one down for you. Like, that's a good memory. And that was how I used to earn money doing, and that's why I love gardening now, boys. So.
I can get one of these because I'm earning the big bucks now. That's what you were like when you went in.
For my own bow and arrow, Nan. So don't worry.
P Diddy,
P Diddy. All right, Jim. I'm small.
Jack, what was it that you did when you were little?
So washing the car, like, it's a classic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I used to get. Well, I mean, Sparky got 50p for his bag of peas. I got 20 quid for washing the car.
20 quid?
20 quid. Maybe it was a tenner. Maybe it was like 20 quid when I was 16, and I definitely didn't want to do it.
20 quid?
I don't think I'd pay a professional 20 quid.
Exactly.
Oh no, I did a worse job than if you'd have paid someone.
Yeah, I'm sure you could get a full valet round here for 20 quid.
Yeah, I think I'm making myself sound a bit too middle class with my jobs and my payments, because the other one I would get paid money to do was to transport the logs down from the driveway into the cellar so that they could dry out, ready for us to burn on the fireplace over the winter.
I used to get a pound every time I stoked the fire. It was a pound of stoking. Was it?
I was going to say it was probably 50 quid for doing the logs. Yeah,
yeah. That's when Jack grew up in Downton Abbey. It's lovely.
I did live in a converted convent.
Did you?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why did you not know this?
Exactly.
I had a swimming pool, tennis courts.
Did you get? I think we did know this, didn't we?
Yeah,
I think we have talked about.
We've
this
been doing
before.
this is literally our 100th episode.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that we were meant to be thinking of stuff to do for the 100th episode in the last week. And no one
Happy 100, guys.
Happy 100.
As head of podcast, you didn't even bring a cake. You tit. Like, come on, come on. You didn't even get some fireworks or something in the reduced section.
No.
in the convent, the old convent.
In the hall.
In the old convent, did you get into any bad habits?
Yeah.
Sometimes I wouldn't put the pool cover back on when I've finished using it. So. Bad boy of the convent. That's what they call me.
Wow.
But I remember, sorry, just on the Sparky saying he bought a bow and arrow. When I was even younger, I used to do drawings of pogs. So you'd get the design on a pog.
Yeah.
And then I'd copy that and draw it onto a piece of A4 paper. I would then sell that to my grandparents.
Jesus Christ, Jack. You're a hustler.
And take that money to the DIY shop to buy balsa wood. So that I can make inventions.
Oh.
Nothing about the cycle of that really makes much sense, unless your grandparents were laundering money, in which case, fine, go for it.
Yeah.
I've also realised that this podcast is supposed to be like our relatable podcast. You know?
Exactly.
And I've just spent the last 5 minutes being thoroughly unrelatable.
Yeah, sometimes I polish the servant's shoes. we had a kind of a set thing where there was like a Saturday morning routine where I would take the upstairs of the house and I would polish that and vacuum that. And my brother would take the downstairs of the house. He would polish and vacuum that. But then as part of like a sort of ongoing thing, it was a flat rate that we got paid for all of the things we needed to do.
Come on, Jim, was it half a shilling? I don't know what
No,
was the
come on.
Halfpenny.
Tuppence, yeah.
Threepence.
Come on. Part of it was we had to alternate making cups of tea, me and my brother. And my mum and I drink a lot of tea. My mum and dad outdrink me in terms of cups of tea.
Wow.
And looking back, for probably about 5 years before I left home, I don't think they made a single cup of tea for themselves because we were too busy going backwards. But it got to the point where we'd have to remember whose turn it was to make a cup of tea. We had to have a list by the kettle and we'd write down our names when we wrote a cup of tea. Then we started writing messages by them for the next person who was coming, for the other brother. Then they became kind of abusive. And then
Then the list system was scrapped.
Yeah, exactly. Because there was a toxic atmosphere, to be honest. And I remember there was one time when I was very cross, did not think it was my turn. I put cornflakes in all the cups of tea. And I was probably a lot older than you'd imagine I would have been.
The ultimate, that's the protesting 101. That's what Just Stop Oil want to do. They want to put cornflakes in everyone's tea to pee them off.
I remember every now and again I'd roll cigarettes for my dad because he smoked those little roll-ups with licorice papers, or horrible brown,
oh God, I remember those.
dank-looking things. But he had a little tin. So I would do that, not as a job, like I didn't get paid for it, but one time in protest, I filled the entire cigarette except for just the end bit with filters. So once he got 4 or 5 puffs in, it was just a thick billowing black smoke.
That'll learn you.
Oh, I thought you'd have to roll his cigars on your thighs or something like that, just in keeping with the whole middle class theme.
No, I did. He did smoke a pipe for a while.
Oh, right, nice.
Yeah.
So this person here washed the old boy's car 10 at a time. Who is getting paid all this money? 10 for this bloke? Yeah, okay. Because of inflation. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A lot of the answers to this on the Dadsnet Facebook page all said we did loads of stuff, we didn't get paid, we got food and board, because everyone's like Matilda or something.
You got food and board, you were lucky, eh?
Exactly. Oh, people love wallowing. But I like this one. Midori says, I did the ironing, got enough money to go ice skating, travel there and back, happy days.
That's
perfect.
Come
Not
on.
bad. See, that's it. When you were actually saving up for something, I was excited. Your bow and arrow must have been the joy of having put those hours in.
Exactly, it was worth shelling all them peas, guys. Sorry, that was the broad beans actually that got me the bow and arrow.
Sorry,
the glut of broad beans, as my nan would say.
Which you didn't put any work in for, did you? You just made
they grew, and I just helped pick and sort.
And it is worth mentioning that Sparky does have a YouTube channel, The Urban Gardener, and he can't take it off the internet because he hasn't got the password.
Wow, guys, and this is not going to make me sound any cooler. I managed to finally find out the email address I have to be able to take those videos down. So if I continue to get abuse on them, I will take them down.
Oh no, you can add more videos now.
Yeah.
Maybe so, but because
let's have a chat after this about like a Dadsnet series of gardening videos.
I mean, I'm in. You've got me. But you know how I found out my the email address? Because it's the email I've used for my Pokemon Go account, and we've recently got back into Pokemon Go, me and my new wife, and I actually emailed the Pokemon Go app to say I can't remember my email. Can you help me? And I gave them my username, and they said, "Oh, it's under this email," and I was like, "Oh, it's that." And so I'm back in, guys. And,
is it like your first ever Hotmail address or something?
It's like a sideline one, I thought, because when Pokemon Go first came out, everyone was like, oh, they're only doing it to steal all your information. So I made a separate email account, and actually everyone's stealing your information these days, so you might as well go for it. But if you're wondering, guys, level 34, and my Charizard is still strong, so it's fine.
Sorry, are you talking about your marriage or Pokemon Go?
Pokemon Go, guys.
Oh, okay, right. Just thought I'd check. Yeah. Did it like? I guess I was quite old when email came out, so I just had one that had my name in it. Like a normal person.
Boring.
You two, I imagine, were quite young, so I were hoping that you had a really embarrassing email at first.
Evil banana.
Evil banana. And
Evil
did you-
_ banana.
Of course, because there was already an evil banana.
Yeah. I think I also had Mr. _ wallpaper.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh God! I think embarrassing. I think mine was like ripped off of Keenan and Kel because I used to pretend to be Kel from Keenan and Kel at school. So I was like, not the real Kel or something. I know something like that, guys. Oh, it's cringy to say
And
that. Out
did
loud.
you two ever actually apply for jobs using these emails?
No, that was the moment I set up a different email address.
Because some people did not do that. And Glitter Princess 39 at Gmail was never going to get that job. This is Loose Dads from Dadsnet. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week. If you could tell a friend about this and get them to listen, we would really appreciate it, and we would love you forever. Not that we don't already love you, we do love you. If you want to join the Patreon, we'd love you even more. Patreon.com.
You will get more love for the Patreon.
Yeah, absolutely, because that involves cold hard cash. So that's always. And make sure you check out Dadsnet as well for parenting stuff. Thank you very much, Sparky.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, friends.
Sparky already preempted that. You've been
Ruined your outro.
Sorry. Because I always go, thank you, boys. And I just thought I'd change it up this week. See, I'll just stay in my lane.
Yeah. Well, it was first time for everything. And thank you to Brad, who wasn't here, but he's working very, very hard at exploding Oculus Rifts. So, great stuff. And we'll be back next week. Thank you very much for listening. Bye. Bye.
Loose Dads, a Dadsnet original podcast.